What's up, guys? I was just on Twitter and I was just scrolling through your guys' tweets, see what you guys are tweeting, answer your guys' questions or anything like that. And of course, as many of you guys know, this whole thing with Conor McGregor popped up everywhere around Twitter. Conor and his team went to the Barclay Center. It seemed like they were looking for someone. We don't know who, but we can all speculate. Most likely was Khabib and his team for what they did to Artem. If you guys don't know, Khabib and his team, they kind of cornered Artem a couple days ago, and Khabib seemed to lightly slap Artem. Very disrespectful, not the right thing to do. You shouldn't be putting your hands on anybody, right? It doesn't matter if you're a fighter or anything like that. I know they're both from Russia, and maybe they do things differently there. I don't know how it all is, but here in America, you don't put your hands on anybody. Well, Conor came to the venue. It seemed like he wanted retaliation. There's videos all over YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. Conor's team just running through the venue looking for someone frantically, and it seemed like they went out to the buses when the media day was done and the fighters were trying to leave. It seemed like they targeted Khabib's van, and there were other fighters on there too, like Michael Chiesa and a bunch of other people. Felice Herrig, I think, is the first one to post a video on it. And you see Conor grabbing a bike rail and trying to throw it at the van, and it seems like they threw some chairs through there and trash cans. They broke the windows. They cut up Michael Chiesa. That is the biggest thing I have a problem with. They're going after Khabib. They're destroying UFC property, destroying the venue's property, stuff that has nothing to do with Khabib or any of his team or anything like that. But the biggest thing is, they hurt an innocent fighter who's just trying to make a living on Saturday, has one of the biggest fights in his life coming up, right? And they potentially, I think he's fine. We don't know for sure. I'm making this video before we know any of that, but it seemed like he's fine according to the coach, but still, potentially, they could have taken out an innocent fighter from making any money and injuring him and stuff like that. It seemed like Michael Chiesa got cut up, and there's video of inside the bus. I don't know who's taking the video, but you hear Ali Abdelaziz, going off on Conor, wanting to go out there and handle it themselves. You can also hear Michael Chiesa, and I feel so bad for the guy, man. If you watch that video, you see how bad it is. The windows are broken and cracked and all that kind of stuff. People were just confused what's going on. Most of them don't even know that he's going after Khabib or why Conor's there. And it seemed like Rose Namajunas almost got hit too, as well as I think a UFC staff member also got hit. So but here's the point of all this. Conor is the worst and the best thing for this sport. The best thing is he keeps relevancy and stuff like this. Even there's people even getting riled up and wanting to see him fight Khabib now and all this kind of stuff. He keeps his name in the headlines. But the reason why he's the worst thing for the sport at the same time is because he acts like a barbarian. If you guys weren't around the early UFC days, early MMA days, the UFC in particular was deemed a barbaric sport. That's why New York and all other kind of states for a very long time weren't sanctioning it. It's a barbaric sport. They say it was human cockfighting, all this kind of stuff. The fighters are barbaric, they're ruthless, all this kind of stuff. And we've grown away from that, we departed from that. But after seeing all this, the biggest star in the sport, this is going to make major headlines. The biggest star in the sport is acting just like what all those critics were saying about the UFC, and what the UFC and many of MMA higher-ups, I guess, were trying to show and prove to these people that no, these fighters are normal, they're educated, they're not barbaric. But then when you see this, not just this, first you go into the Bellator event, what Conor did. That was very inexcusable, slapping officials, running into the cage, almost starting to fight with Mark Goddard, the referee, and then he does this. He hurt someone that had nothing to do with his feud. He destroyed property. I don't even know how there's people justifying what he's doing out there. I got in some very brief arguments with some people online who were trying to defend him. First of all, these people I can't really take seriously. I really can't take them seriously. They just have very poor judgment. The reasoning is just so simple-minded, so childish. It's just someone you don't want to argue with. I see a lot of people saying, but this is what Khabib gets for doing what he did to Artem. Guys, of course what Khabib did was not right. You don't ever put your hands on anybody, but it was nothing serious though. He didn't hurt Artem. He lightly slapped him, of course. Like I just said, that's not something I'm justifying, but he lightly slapped him. We're talking about someone who potentially injured an innocent fighter and destroyed property. Right? Not just the fighters. Okay, look at the person driving the van, the security. All these kind of people are getting involved in this, and this is just crazy. He's bringing this on to everybody else. Everyone's just trying to get ready for the fights, get psyched up for the fights, get ready for weigh-ins, all this kind of stuff. The drivers just trying to mind their own business, just drive them from point A to point B. The security hoping nothing is going on wrong here, but that's their job, of course. If someone like Conor comes up and starts acting a fool, they got to do something about it, right? And I heard there's no clarification to this, but there is rumors of a source, and there's some credible people retweeting this source. They heard Dana White saying that Conor McGregor's in jail and he's done. All right, those are the words that are rumored, right? They're rumored. I'm not saying these are 100% true. I don't know if they're 100% true. But if it's true that Conor McGregor is done with the UFC at some point, I doubt that's going to happen. But it could. I wouldn't be surprised, because this is just crazy. He's the fighting representative of the UFC, right? And he is this barbaric. I mean, I would not be surprised if they let go of him at some point. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do that. This is just hurting their image. Like I said, the thing I'm most upset about is the fact that Michael Chiesa got hurt in this. Because a lot of people are detached from fighters. They just see him as an athlete, but these people are humans, right? They're just at their job, right? They're just trying to make money. They're trying to just do what they love out there. They're not trying to get in some street scrap with this gang out there. There's also reports, I think from Dana White, saying that Conor has a warrant for his arrest and he can't leave New York, at least by plane. And it seems like Artem Lobov is off the car. So who did he really hurt here? He hurt Artem Lobov. Artem Lobov cannot even fight on the card. We were looking forward to him versus Alex Caceres. That's a pretty good fight. And Caceres, I hope they compensate for him. Hope they give him the money, win bonus, whatever. This had nothing to do with him, and his opponent got pulled from the card 2 days before. And there's no clear answer here, but I think Brett Okamoto was able to talk with Dana White, and Dana says the most despicable thing in UFC history. And he asked Dana if he would do business with Conor again, and he replied with, "Would you?" So that's not a no, but this guy got so much power, man. He got so much fame, so much money. And it seems to have gotten to his head. I mean, he's got this, it seems like he has this ego, this demeanor about himself that he's just some divine being that no one can touch, and whatever he does is just. The guy believes he's not on the same ground as other human beings. It's kind of ridiculous. This is not good for him. His image, everything like that, he might never fight for the UFC. Here is friend for making money. I don't know if Artem wanted him to do all this. So too many innocent people got hurt here in one way or another. And he got everybody besides the people he was looking for, right? He was looking for Khabib and his team, and he didn't get to any of them. Nothing happened to them, but things happened to everybody else. Yeah, this is despicable. I completely agree with the Dana White. This is one of the most disgusting things in UFC history. I just wanted to rant about this a little bit. It was on my mind, and I couldn't just get it out on tweets. So all I want to say here at the end is, it's very hard to be a fan of Conor after this, and I can't really respect him outside the cage anymore. I mean, you don't see this stuff from anybody else. It's very shocking that he's the one that's doing this stuff. I mean, can't really respect him outside the octagon. This stuff is just unjustifiable. Hopefully, he at least apologizes to Michael Chiesa and the venue and the UFC and Dana White, all these people that he pretty much hurt in some way or another. I mean, he owes them way more than an apology, but that's the least, the absolute minimum he can do here. That's all I wanted to say. I want to see what you guys think as well, so leave a comment below what your guys' thoughts. So that's all I wanted to say, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.